Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. Davis walked briskly toward his friend Jamie's apartment. His heart raced, a mixture of excitement and anxiety coursing through his veins. The silky fabric of the azure dress he wore beneath his oversized hoodie brushed against his skin with each step, a constant reminder of the bold choice he had made. "It's just for a party," Davis muttered under his breath, trying to quell the growing unease in his stomach. A silly themed thing, nothing more. But even as he repeated the mantra, a part of him knew it wasn't entirely true. The dress hadn't been a random selection from a thrift store rack. He'd spent hours poring over options online, carefully considering cuts and colors before making his choice. And now, as he approached Jamie's building, his fingers absently toyed with the hem of the hoodie, itching to reveal what lay beneath. Davis took a deep breath, steeling himself before pressing the buzzer. A crackle of static, then Jamie's voice came through. "Come on up!" The elevator ride felt interminable. Davis studied his reflection in the mirrored walls, noting the stubble he'd meticulously shaved away and the subtle touch of mascara he'd applied. Small changes, barely noticeable to most, but to Davis they felt monumental. The elevator dinged, doors sliding open. Davis squared his shoulders and made his way down the hall. He could hear muffled voices and laughter from inside Jamie's apartment. His hand hovered over the doorknob for a moment before he gathered his courage and pushed it open. "Surprise!" The shout died on his friend's lips as Davis entered. The apartment was decidedly unparty-like. No decorations, no music, just a small group of his closest friends gathered in the living room and pointed directly at him. A camera, confusion and betrayal warred within Davis. What's going on?" he managed to choke out. Jamie stepped forward, lowering the camera. "Davis, we need to talk." The next few minutes passed in a blur. Davis sank onto the couch, barely registering the concerned faces of his friends as they explained their intervention. They'd noticed changes in him over the past few months. His growing discomfort with traditionally masculine activities, the way his eyes lingered on feminine clothing in store windows, how he'd withdrawn from their usual social outings. "We just want you to know that we support you," Jamie said softly. "Whatever journey you're on, whatever you're figuring out about yourself, we're here for you." Davis's mind raced, a kaleidoscope of emotions tumbling through him. Anger at the deception, relief at finally being seen, fear of what came next. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. Ellie, always the most perceptive of the group, gently placed a hand on his arm. "Davis, we've known you for years. We've seen how much happier you've been when you let yourself embrace more feminine aspects of yourself. We want you to feel safe being your authentic self with us." The lump in Davis's throat grew. He looked down at his hands, clenched tightly in his lap. With trembling fingers, he slowly unzipped the hoodie, revealing the dress beneath. A collective gasp filled the room, not of shock or judgment, but of understanding and support. Davis raised his eyes, meeting the warm gazes of his friends. I don't know exactly what this means yet," he said, voice barely above a whisper, "but I think I might be transgender." The words hung in the air for a moment before Jamie broke the silence. "Thank you for trusting us with this. What can we do to support you?" Davis took a shaky breath. "I've been thinking about a name. Milani. I'd like to try using she/her pronouns, if that's okay." Nods of agreement rippled through the group. Ellie squeezed Milani's hand. Milani is a beautiful name. The tension in the room began to dissipate as Milani's friends rallied around her. They shared stories of their own journeys with identity and self-discovery, offering words of encouragement and resources. As the evening wore on, Milani found herself laughing and relaxing, the weight she'd been carrying for so long beginning to lift. As the gathering wound down, Milani stood in front of the full-length mirror in Jamie's bedroom. She smoothed the fabric of the dress, taking in her reflection with new eyes. For the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of rightness, of coming home to herself. "You look beautiful," Jamie said, appearing in the doorway. "How do you feel?" Milani turned, a small smile playing on her lips. "Terrified, excited, like I'm finally starting to see the real me." Jamie nodded, understanding in her eyes. "This is just the beginning, you know. There will be challenges ahead." "I know," Milani replied, "but knowing I have all of you in my corner, it makes it seem possible." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of change for Milani. With the support of her friends, she began taking small steps to align her outward appearance with her inner sense of self. Shopping trips to build a new wardrobe, experimenting with makeup, and countless hours of research on gender identity and transition filled her days. One particularly memorable afternoon found Milani and Ellie at a local boutique, sifting through racks of clothes. Milani ran her fingers over a soft pink blouse, admiring the delicate lace detailing. "You should try it on," Ellie encouraged. "It would look amazing with your skin tone." Milani hesitated, old fears rising to the surface. "I don't know. What if people stare?" Ellie met her gaze steadily. "Then they'll be staring at a gorgeous woman trying on clothes. Nothing more, nothing less." With a deep breath, Milani nodded and took the blouse into the fitting room. As she slipped it on, she marveled at how natural it felt, how right. She emerged from the fitting room, a shy smile on her face. Ellie's eyes lit up. "Oh, Milani, you look stunning." A nearby saleswoman overheard and approached with a warm smile. "That color is perfect on you, dear. Would you like to see some skirts that would complement it beautifully?" The simple act of being gendered correctly, of being treated as just another woman shopping, brought tears to Milani's eyes. She nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. As they left the store, bags in hand, Milani turned to Ellie. "Thank you for being here with me. I don't think I could have done this alone." Ellie pulled her into a tight hug. "You're never alone, Milani. We're all here for you, every step of the way." The journey wasn't always smooth, of course. Milani faced her share of challenges and setbacks. Coming out to her family proved to be a particularly difficult hurdle. She sat at her parents' kitchen table, hands wrapped tightly around a mug of cooling tea as she explained her journey to them. Her mother's brow furrowed in confusion. "But sweetie, you've never shown any signs of wanting to be a girl before." Milani took a deep breath, fighting back tears. "Mom, I've felt this way for a long time. I didn't have the words for it before, and I was scared of how you'd react." Her father, who had been silent up to that point, cleared his throat. "This is a lot to take in, Milani. We love you, no matter what, but you have to understand this is a big change for us, too." The conversation was tense and emotional, filled with difficult questions and moments of misunderstanding. But as the evening wore on, Milani could see her parents making a genuine effort to understand and support her. As she prepared to leave, her mother pulled her into a tight embrace. "You'll always be our child," she whispered. "We may stumble sometimes, but we'll figure this out together." The weeks turned into months, and Milani continued to grow into herself. She started hormone replacement therapy, a decision that brought both excitement and anxiety. The physical changes were gradual, but each small shifts. One sunny afternoon, Milani stood in front of her bathroom mirror, studying her reflection. For the first time in her life, she felt a sense of connection to the person staring back at her. A knock at the door startled her from her reverie. "Milani?" Jamie's voice called out. "Are you ready? We're going to be late for the support group meeting." Milani had been attending a local transgender support group for several weeks now. The meetings had become a lifeline, a place where she could share her experiences with others who truly understood the complexities of her journey. "Coming," she called back, quickly pulling on a floral sundress and running a brush through her growing hair. As they drove to the meeting, Milani found herself lost in thought. "Jamie," she said suddenly, "do you think I'm moving too fast with all of this?" Jamie glanced over, a quizzical expression on her face. "What do you mean?" Milani sighed, struggling to put her feelings into words. "It's just, sometimes I worry that I'm not trans enough, you know? Like, I didn't always know I was a woman. What if I'm making a mistake? Jamie pulled the car over to the side of the road and turned to face her friend. Milani, listen to me. There's no one right way to be transgender. Your journey is your own. What matters is how you feel, not whether you fit some preconceived notion of what it means to be trans. Tears welled up in Milani's eyes. But what if... No what ifs, Jamie interrupted gently. I've known you for years, Milani. I've never seen you as happy or as comfortable in your own skin as you are now. That's what matters. Milani nodded, wiping away her tears. You're right. Thank you for always knowing what to say. As they pulled up to the community center where the support group met, Milani took a deep breath, centering herself. These meetings had become a crucial part of her journey, a place where she could share her fears and triumphs with others who truly understood. Inside, familiar faces greeted her warmly. The group leader, a kind-faced woman named Tara, started the meeting with a check-in. When it came to Milani's turn, she found herself opening up about her earlier doubts. I think it's completely normal to have moments of uncertainty, Tara reassured her. Transition is a big journey, and it's okay to take it at your own pace. Others in the group nodded in agreement, sharing their own experiences with self-doubt and imposter syndrome. As Milani listened to their stories, she felt a sense of belonging wash over her. These people understood her in a way that even her closest friends couldn't quite manage. After the meeting, Milani lingered, chatting with some of the other attendees. A woman named Vanessa approached her, a warm smile on her face. I just wanted to say how much I admire your courage, Vanessa said. I remember how scary it was when I first started my transition, but seeing you embrace your true self so openly, it's inspiring. Milani felt a blush creep up her cheeks. Thank you. That means a lot to hear. As she and Jamie drove home, Milani felt a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead might not always be easy, but she knew she had a strong support system to lean on. The following weeks brought new challenges and triumphs. Milani decided to come out at work, a prospect that filled her with equal parts excitement and dread. She arranged a meeting with her supervisor, rehearsing what she wanted to say countless times in front of her mirror. When the day arrived, Milani sat across from her boss, hands clasped tightly in her lap to hide their trembling. So, Milani, her supervisor began, what did you want to discuss? Taking a deep breath, Milani launched into the speech she had prepared. As you may have noticed, I've been going through some changes lately. I've come to understand that I'm transgender, and I've begun the process of transitioning to live as my true self, as a woman. She paused, gauging her supervisor's reaction. To her relief, the older woman's expression remained open and attentive. I wanted to inform you of this change and discuss how we can make this transition smooth in the workplace. I'll be using she, her pronouns from now on, and I'd appreciate if you could help ensure my colleagues are aware of and respect this change. Her supervisor nodded thoughtfully. Thank you for sharing this with me, Milani. I appreciate your openness and honesty. We'll certainly do everything we can to support you through this transition. Have you given any thought to how you'd like to announce this to the rest of the team? The conversation that followed was productive and reassuring. Her supervisor promised to work with HR to update Milani's records and ensure that appropriate accommodations were made. They drafted an email to send to the team, announcing Milani's transition and outlining expectations for respect and support. As Milani left the office that day, she felt a weight lift from her shoulders. The fear of rejection or discrimination that had plagued her was replaced by a cautious optimism. She knew there might still be challenges ahead, but having the support of her workplace was a significant victory. The email announcement went out the following morning. Milani arrived at work, heart pounding, unsure of what reception awaited her. To her surprise and relief, she was met with an outpouring of support from her colleagues. Many stopped by her desk throughout the day to offer words of encouragement or simply to chat as they always had. One coworker, Michael, approached her somewhat awkwardly during lunch. Hey, Milani, he said, fidgeting slightly. I just wanted to say that I think what you're doing is really brave. And if anyone gives you any trouble, you let me know, okay? Milani felt a lump form in her throat. Thank you, Michael. That means a lot. As the weeks passed, Milani settled into her new normal at work. There were occasional slip-ups with pronouns, but they were almost always followed by sincere apologies. She found herself growing more confident in her role, no longer expending energy on hiding her true self. Outside of work, Milani continued to explore and embrace her identity. She began vocal training sessions, working to develop a voice that felt more congruent with her gender identity. The process was challenging and often frustrating, but each small improvement filled her with a sense of accomplishment. One evening, as she practiced her exercises, Jamie burst into her apartment, waving an envelope excitedly. "Milani, you've got to see this." Curious, Milani took the envelope. Inside was an invitation to a gala event hosted by a local LGBT advocacy group. Her eyes widened as she read the details. "They want me to speak," she gasped, looking up at Jamie in disbelief. Jamie nodded, grinning broadly. "They heard about your journey through the support group. They think your story could really inspire people." Milani sank onto the couch, her mind reeling. "I don't know, Jamie. Speaking in front of all those people, what if I'm not ready?" Jamie sat beside her, placing a comforting hand on her arm. "You don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. But Milani, think about how much it would have meant to you to hear someone's story when you were first figuring things out. You have the chance to be that person for someone else." Mulling over Jamie's words, Milani felt a spark of determination ignite within her. She thought back to the scared, confused person she had been just months ago, desperately seeking validation and understanding. If she could offer even a glimmer of hope or support to someone else in that position... "Okay," she said finally, a mix of nervousness and excitement coloring her voice. "I'll do it." The weeks leading up to the gala were a flurry of preparation. Milani worked tirelessly on her speech, pouring her heart into every word. She wanted to convey not just the challenges she had faced, but the joy and freedom she had found in embracing her true self. As the day of the event dawned, Milani stood before her mirror, adjusting the elegant green gown she had chosen for the occasion. Her hair, now falling past her shoulders, was styled in soft waves. She applied her makeup with care, marveling at how natural these once foreign rituals now felt. "You look stunning," Ellie said, appearing in the doorway. "Are you ready?" Milani took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "As ready as I'll ever be." The gala was a whirlwind of activity. Milani mingled with other attendees, her nervousness gradually giving way to excitement as she engaged in conversations about advocacy and personal journeys. She was struck by the diversity of the crowd, people of all ages, races, and gender identities united in their support for the LGBT community. As the time for her speech approached, Milani felt a familiar flutter of anxiety in her stomach. She made her way to the side of the stage, running through her opening lines in her head. A gentle hand on her shoulder made her turn. Jamie stood there, a proud smile on her face. "You've got this, Milani. Just speak from your heart." With a nod of gratitude, Milani took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. The bright lights momentarily blinded her, but as her eyes adjusted, she saw the sea of expectant faces before her. In that moment, all her doubts fell away. These were her people, her community. "Good evening," she began, her voice strong and clear. "My name is Milani, and I'm here to share my story with you." As she spoke, Milani felt a profound sense of rightness wash over her. She shared the struggles and the triumphs, the fears and the joys of her journey. She spoke of the importance of support systems and the power of self-acceptance. When she finished, the room erupted in applause. Milani felt tears prick at her eyes as she took in the standing ovation before her. In that moment, she knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she was on the right path. As she made her way off the stage, Milani was enveloped in a group hug by her friends. Their faces shone with pride and love. "You are amazing," Jamie said, wiping away a tear. Ellie nodded in agreement. "You're going to help so many people, Milani." As the evening wound down, Milani found herself standing on the balcony of the event hall, gazing out at the city lights. She reflected on the journey that had brought her to this point. From the scared, confused person she had been to the confident woman she was becoming. The months continued to drift by, each one bringing Milani closer to the woman she knew herself to be. The hormones she meticulously administered each day were like magical potions, slowly transforming her body into a canvas that better reflected her soul. Her once angular face softened, acquiring a more delicate, feminine cast. Her hips broadened, accentuating the sway of her walk, while her waist narrowed, transforming her silhouette into an hourglass figure. Thanks for watching. The rest won't be viewable on YouTube, so check out Patreon if you want more. I hope you have a wonderful day, my cutie.